Hello everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would show quite a few different things today. To start with, in Excalibur's recent challenge, which just took place over the weekend, um, there was an entry in there that I found completely unique and really fleshed out and realized with a different theme I haven't seen before. And that is the Steampunk Camper by NMK 111. Um, Never seen anything like this for Empyrion before, or quite frankly, much anything else either. It's wow. Um, the detail on this thing is amazing. I'm seeing kind of how it was built and seeing the use of like the rust decals that were over the brown, different tones of like brown and orange textures on this. And this is a HV. It it's fully functional. It runs around and does everything it needs to do. But what amazing styling on this! So unique from what you normally would see, and the lighting and things too really enhance it. In fact, I'll turn the lights down here in a minute so you can see what this looks like at night as well. But wow, just look at all this, all the detail. I mean, obviously it's a steampunk theme, but wow, I haven't seen anything like this before, and I just thought I would show it to you. Another thing that kind of something else I would like to address a little bit more too is there's a lot of stuff that gets released to the workshop, and some of it, like this here, I mean, it's exceptional. It's extremely well done, for going for, I mean, an artsy look. And it didn't get, I mean, at the time it doesn't have a lot of subs on it or views and things like that. And when I first seen it, I was just like, wow, geez, I would think that this would be up in the spotlight and getting a lot of attention and things like that. I didn't see it there, or maybe I missed it. I had several days that I wasn't really looking at the spotlight, but I don't know. I just love to see people like make an effort to go out there and take a look at like the new releases by authors and something that sticks out. Give them a thumbs up. Leave a nice comment. It's very encouraging, to authors. Back when I first started, I made a few things, and granted, I got better over time. But my early things, I mean, when they first started out, geez, I might have got like three or four subs on it and no comments at all, and it's kind of discouraging. You put your time and effort into building something, and it's like, no one really sees it much, and no one really cares unless you have like a breakthrough, like something that you get up into the spotlight, something that's above and beyond or something like that, or just something that just gets popular for some reason. It's hard to predict exactly what's going to be popular too. It really is. Sometimes you think, oh, this should be really popular, and then it looks like not a lot of people look at it. But this thing I just found to be really amazing. I mean, I try to focus on creating my own styles and ways of doing things, kind of like the alien race, and then where I started out with the military survival stuff. They were, I keep on trying to work that formula more and more and try to come up with better looking things as I gain more experience building. But yeah, this here is just it's fantastically well done. So I just thought I would show that off. I'm going to leave a link to this for the workshop post in the YouTube comments, or I'm sorry, the description for this video. But yeah, just all these little subtle details, like the differences of the two textures that are in almost a checkerboard pattern here across the floor, with the slightly different colors and use of wood textures and the really cool LCDs. This also has a drone hatch up top. This is the lever for that. Here, I tell you what, I'm going to switch over to night, just so you can take a look at what this looks like at night too. which it works. I mean, everything about it works. It looks really cool at night. The outside is spectacular at night. You get the light that kind of drifts off from all these railings and things like that, and it just kind of has a certain look to it that doesn't even look like it's from this game. You know, it's just cool. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that, and awesome work on this NMK 111. Just thought I'd say that yet again. It really surprised me. This was in just a challenge, and there was a lot of really good things in the challenge. I mean, I'm it's not my challenge, so I'm not gonna show everything that was in there. But there's a lot of very impressive things. In fact, I put the Scarab SHM2 in it, and I I think it was very underwhelming compared to so many of the other things that were in there. So just saying that. And this is an example of some of the stuff that gets built out there, and it's like, wow, look at that. Just look at that. I would, if I were you, I'd really go with this theme and try to add more to it over time. So you can kind of get like a set. And I do think that helps too. If you, I try to focus on that. I try to make things that go together. That's why I'm building so many alien things and not just one, because I think it's really cool. If I was a player, it's kind of nice to have like a whole group of things that are all themed the same. It's kind of feels neat when you got like a whole selection, and that was a goal I've always started with. Anyway, well, I didn't start with that. It took a while to find that, I guess, that theme. So that is the first thing I wanted to show. Next is um, updated version of the HV that was shown on the last video for the docking ports of the CV behind it. And while currently I mean, this is still a work in progress, but I see it's colored and textured, and I think it looks really, really good. And I've noticed like a lot of the tricks. Here, let me get a little better light. With like the multiple changes or shades of the purple that are done. Now, I was asked also, like, what would I do with this if like styling and things like that, if it was my creation. And honestly, on the nature of this, due to it has to fit in such a small bay, and you can't really go too crazy with spiky things and stuff sticking out and stuff like that. It has to be kind of very similar to what it is if you want some room inside it at least. More of a rectangular shape, but it did really cool. I mean, looking at all the round edges and the styling all over the place, kind of embedded RCSs following like the same thing I did with like the Creel Gast and the Papos. Um, no, that is really cool. Did I run out of power? I did run out of power. Sorry about that. So yeah, in the light beams, and I think you got that right too, where there's the two different tones of light. Um, it's really cool. That's really cool. It makes me very happy to see all that. So the only thing that sticks out to me that I typically do with my builds, and it's not really on anything with the styling or the looks, it's just a little bit on the texturing. And what I tend to do is, I don't know what it is with me, but these little lines on this particular texture, that they bug me. But I like to see some of them. So I try to find a combination or a mix between flat and that. So what I do a lot of times is go through here and mute out a bunch of them with this texture right next to it. So I'd like take out a lot of the jaggy lines, but I'll try to leave some lines in here. Just enough though. And now in the lines that I do leave, like this particular line here, what I try to have them all do is go at the same angle across too. So I will take this one, hit it again, so the it reverses, so it's got a seam at the same direction of the other one. Now that's just, I mean, this is just something I do. Um, it's kind of bizarre, but I just found it to try to, you know, work with what's there and try to get a little bit more detail into something. I don't like things that are all flat and no seams or lines, but I don't like it fully seamed and lined. But by doing this in places, it cleans up the the little bit of that, but you still leave some lines behind to know that it's like metal and whatnot. So that is just something I do, and I think it helps. I really do. My early creations did not do that. It was later on I kind of discovered to try to do this, and I've been doing it ever since, basically. So just stuff like that, so it's a little bit smoother. Yeah, you see what I'm doing. So that is that. Couple other tricks too on when you deal with certain shapes, like these side corners here. I believe this texture here fits nicely on the center, so you could put like that there. Just an idea. Purely an option if you wanted to get a little bit more texturing in there. Now, obviously, he left all the cargo containers untextured right now, probably so I know where they all were and everything. And this isn't like the final version, but yeah, it's looking really good. It really is. On the interior, if I was doing it, I think what I would start to do, and this already has the color palette in there. So, as in these, this is the brightest of these three shades of purple that I've been using heavily. Um, and this is the darkest of the three. So what I would probably do with the floor to start with is, oh, it's always a problem, is maybe tone it like one shade, another shade. Oh, can't do that one, okay. Or maybe I can. Do maybe something like that with the floor, so you got like the multiple different tones there. And what I've also been doing with this race, and it's, you know, if I could find something better to do, I probably would. But I'll put like a black row across like an area. So like over here, or the dark shade of gray here. I won't say black. It's really hard to texture it once all the components are in place. And most of the time when I build something, what I'll do is I'll fit everything, kind of like how it's done here. So you got a home for all the stuff, but then I end up blowing away all these things so I can texture in and out and around them and everything like that, which is easier than trying to perfectly position yourself in blocks. It's a little easier to do with with bases or CVs because the blocks are bigger, but with HVs or SVs, it's very challenging because so many of these things will block what you're trying to texture or not texture the right things. So that's one idea, like a black strip there, and then again with the walls, maybe do like another color fade. Something like that, like start with this tone across here, and then so on and so forth, and then maybe go to a different tone above it. And oops, and then possibly a different one above that as well. Just an idea, just something I was messing with. On some of these lights here, if they're like texture lights like this, which is really cool, what I've been trying to do is, without overdoing it, maybe add in some more purple lights that kind of they really stick out at night. In fact, taking a look at this at night, kind of see how they enhance over there. Let me see what you got for lights here. On lights, I've been using an awful lot of spotlights since they came into the game. And there's a difference, and sometimes a combination of a spotlight and a regular light actually ends up looking the best. But right now, as in the lighting, it looks good. It looks good, but what happens if we change one of these to a spotlight? And usually when I do, I also increase the intensity by 1. And then I might mess with the range, and then finally the spotlight angle. So over there, what's that? I guess it's kind of making it brighter right in that section here. Let me hit this other one here a second too, so they're both the same. What did I do? Here, I'll crank these up to 15 right now. Okay, that one is. Okay, so I don't know if that looks any better. Is there another light in here? Feels like there's a light back here somewhere. Oh yeah. Probably one on both sides there. But once you convert them all to spotlights, then you get kind of a directional lighting. Now, I don't know if that necessarily looks better or not. What I've been doing with lighting these ships, though, is I'll start with something like what's here. In fact, let me try something slightly different with the lights. I just want to see how this works out. So I'm going to remove these two, and I'm going to put in. Do I have any? Yeah, I got some here. I'm going to put one in the center somewhere. Oh, I see. That's a half block there. I can't do that. Okay, I understand. I run into that all the time with my own stuff. Whoops. Let's see. Where else could a light go? How about... Nope, can't put it there either. Yeah, it's always problematic with fitting lights and switches and sensors and all that stuff. It's the more crazy you get with your shaping, the more less flat areas you have to actually put these kinds of things, and that all kind of can suck. Well, okay, here, let me turn off that. So we got one light on this side. What I'll do a lot of times to make this brighter without actually making it brighter is I'll mess with a spotlight angle. So I'm going to increase this up quite a bit. Now you can see it kind of covers this whole area over here, so it kind of is illuminating more air, just more space. Then again, I don't have any problems with the lights that were already there either. I think they look pretty good. So, I mean, this is just an option, you know, something you could check into, like these backlights here. Maybe on this side, it would look really cool if they were smaller on the spotlight angle. And obviously, if you go way down, just if you don't know, like right now, I set it to 15, which is really small. So you can see it's just doing a very small little bit of light over here. And as you increase that, it increases this angle out a lot. And sometimes I'll adjust it to where it just illuminates exactly what I want it to, like going up the sides. Like I wanted the door to be lit, but I don't want the ceiling and all the walls to be lit too much. So that's a definite option there. And it just takes a lot of, you know, tweaking and trial and error, and you know, sometimes I'll redo lighting and position the lights differently and things like that. I would of course like to get more color in, but unfortunately, and I hope this changes eventually in the game, is your color palette for lights is very limited and not changeable. Now I don't mind 16 total colors, but if you could change it like you do with the colors for texturing, that would be really cool. The problem, it's kind of neat that there's a lot of different blues in here, but I wanted to try to get like some of this shade in my own in the alien stuff too, but I found that it sticks out too much. It's like it's too intense. If I do pop in one of these lights, I've been lowering down the intensity, but then you don't get much of an effect from it. And sometimes blending like two lights together has a really cool looking effect too, or two different shades of light. like say this one was that way. Well, I don't like that, but um, yeah, something like that. I don't know. It just takes a lot of messing with it. So these are the first two things I wanted to show you, and I just wanted to throw some ideas out there on this one. But as in the styling and everything else about it, for how it has to fit and what it's got to do, you don't have a whole heck of a lot of options to go crazy like because it's very specific on space and size. And this thing utilizes everything, so it's got a lot of room inside. It fits in a relatively small bay perfectly. Things like that. Um, Anyway, thanks again, Typhoon. This is not on the workshop yet. It's still a work in progress, but definitely very cool. And when you get this done and I get this CV out to the world here, I'll have a link on the post so you can get this item right away to use with the docks. I don't think I'll have one built myself when I release the CV, so I plan on releasing it in about a week from now. Um, Okay, well, moving on to the next area. Um, I was messing with some stuff over here, and these were a couple of concept PvP, well, for Excalibur's new challenge, which is the Class 3 HV or SV, designed around PvP. And I brought this up on the last video a little bit. This is one concept. I'm not 100% sure if I like it. It's a working chassis. I don't have like the bottom on or the back or landing gear or anything like that, but it's a hardened steel build. It's extremely tough. On the front, we've got well, currently what we got, 2 solid layers of lag shot behind 2 other layers of stuff. It has one of these cockpits on it, but it would also have a secure cockpit in a very secure location, probably back a little bit in this area if I continue with this build here. And everything's got lag shot. It's got lag shot on the inner walls, on these areas out here. These aren't totally filled in, but the areas I did do, it's got more lag shot around there and multiple layers. It's got a lot of thrust too, because when you build something that's going to be heavy like this, it's going to need a lot of thrust power. So it's got 6 of these bigger ones on the bottom, backed up by additional 5 on each side of these. So another 10 of those just for lift thrust. Similar with the front thrust, and I also been putting like the grates over the thrusters. I like to keep them exposed, even though I'm sure a lot of PvP stuff do not have them exposed, but at some point in time the game rules may change and it may actually be required that the thrusters are open, and I'm not sure if these grates would be valid to put over them at that point in time, but it may be. If not, they're very easy to remove without changing the looks of the craft at all. But I don't know if I'm completely happy with this. It's kind of bulky, I guess. There's something about the shape I didn't really like. So then I was messing around with something else. This same idea. This is also bulked up with a lot of lag shot all over the place. Not quite as sturdy as the other ship, at least how it sits here. It's kind of messing with some stuff. And then I wigged out on this one, and I started to see something in it. And then I decided I don't want it to be a PvP vessel. So here, let me head over this way. I'm trying to keep the view away from it right now. So I was thinking about adding something new to the Transit series with that prototype here, and I'll show you in just a second here. So the Transit series, I only have the I got 3 ships. I got 2 SVs and 1 CV, which was made for the Hephaestus spaceport. So I kind of started out with this design here with, and these had 13K storage bins on it. This one was kind of the squatty version. To me, it always looked like a bunny. I'm not sure why. It just has that bunny look to me. This one was the more fleshed out version, which was bigger and did not comply to CPU. with an enclosed cockpit, which I did like the enclosed cockpit better, especially for a transport ship. Um, Same side doors, pretty much the same interior as the other one, but more fleshed out version. So now what I've got is I took that prototype for a PvP ship and I converted it into a CH5. Um, and this one I think is pretty cool. I like how it came out in the end. I stretched it out from what it was there. I added in a glass cockpit. Um, I don't have it fully done. I want to add a little more detail to the back, but I kind of like the Millennium Falcon kind of look to the back of it. And these weird old school wings. I don't know, it just kind of gives it a curvy look that I kind of really dig. Um, so I was thinking about making this into a multi-function ship, actually. So this thing has a lot of thrust on it, and it's designed to carry stuff. In fact, I was calling it a CH5 because I was thinking it would have uh, more cargo capacity than what the CH3 does. The CH3 has essentially 39,000 cargo. This one, I believe I could go up add about another 26,000 to it. And the reason for that is the massive amounts of lift thrust it has. Here, let me get this off the ground a little bit, and I'll show you how unfinished this ship actually is. Um, so it's just a shell right now, a working shell though, because I installed all the RCS and components all into the walls wherever I could. I would have to fill in this area a lot, but it's running 12 of these medium-sized SV thrusters on it, which is quite a bit more than what the CH3 had. So that's why I figure this could have more cargo capacity. Yeah, this is just something else I've been kind of working on, and I kind of freaked out and started texturing the well, most of the ship, I guess, except for the bottom, which is undone. And a couple little tricks I did with texturing too, which I think came out kind of neat, is if you notice little things like the this white that kind of hangs over, almost like this is a metal plate over like something else below it. That's actually done with a decal. Um, on these half blocks like that, you can, like if I switch it, you can kind of see what's happening there. Um, and the fact that these decal, the color white matches this white very closely. It almost looks like it's part of it, giving it a little bit more fine detail. Um, so I thought that was kind of a neat little trick. It's very subtle. You don't really see it much from a distance. I did similar to that on this little front area here, where these are actually decals right on the edges there. Just something to think about, you know, when doing up a ship. But yeah, this one I will get to. Of course, I want to put most of my time and effort into the CV this week, but this will be the next human faction, or as the game lists it, Terran faction ship that I'll probably going to do. And beyond being a cargo transport ship, I was thinking due to the amount of space inside this, it might be a troop transport ship, kind of a dual use troop transport slash cargo slash with the amount of, it's got decent amount of weaponry on it, and it will have a shield as well. So it could be used to engage POIs. I wouldn't say heavy POIs. It's a steel construction. It's not full flag shot. It's fairly lightweight, and I think right now it's sitting at a class 2. Yeah, just about class 2, it's slightly over. It'll probably be a class 3 when it's done. But I just wanted to show you that. Okay, so moving on to the next thing is some work and updates done to the CV. And let's see where to start here. I got another one of these in here. I was kind of like messing with it. Very cool again. CV I didn't do as much as I wanted to because I got a little bit sidetracked, but I was kind of messing with the back area again. Here, let me get to mood lighting. And I changed the lights around a bit and added a little bit more detail to this area and a couple of these little deco pieces. I'm debating on whether I should keep these texture lights along the ridges there. I think it looks all right from a distance, but I don't necessarily like it close up. I tell you what, if there was a texture that was just solid without the lines in it like that, but would have the same type of effect, I think that would be really cool. Or like a frosty, like a light look or something like that. I don't know. Um, so this area didn't change too much. Most all the work I did do on it was on the top floor. And it's kind of a construction zone up here, I will say right now. So, top floor, here, we'll just get regular lights here again. Getting it kind of mapped out. Now, right now, I've got two crew rooms. I plan on having two more back over there. I didn't put beds in here, and I'm thinking I might just as well do that. I was thinking, well, okay, aliens sleep in these little cryo chambers, and maybe this is something they like. Because I was trying to avoid putting in TVs and couches and beds and very human-looking things, but I think that's kind of in vain because there's not much else to put in. And so I'm thinking on these crew rooms, I will switch them up a little bit, get rid of this, put in a bed, things like that. Or if you think I ought to just leave it with the cryo chambers instead of a bed and whatnot. But I didn't know what to put in a room. And how I set this up is it's just kind of a wall, and it keeps it open to the ceiling area. And that's the way it is on both sides. Now, the captain's room, I'm not going to keep these here either. I haven't really furnished yet or put in the door that's going to go down to the bridge. But the whole point is I've been trying to keep the ceiling visible over the rooms, so I didn't kind of open up the space a little bit. So the next part here, and this is just a front wall. This is a lot of combat steel. Again, this is going to be where the secure, and I should just leave the light one way or the other. This is going to be where the secure bridge is going to go / control room. So it's going to have some switches and ship function controls. This blue area up here is just to let me know where I've put in some lag shot block so far, and I'm probably going to make another layer of that over here. I've got some nice tall ceilings, and I'll probably replace a lot of the this carbon substrate also with combat steel on the bottom side of it, basically encasing this room in combat steel, even from like the sides and things like that. So although it's fairly well embedded into the ship, this is where, you know, if you're actually fighting, where you would probably want to be piloting the ship. And then I did a little bit more with this back area, trying to set up the temple, and I kind of wanted like a walk-in area to the temple, and that's what this ceiling area was for, and then getting into the actual big room part of the temple itself. At night, again, I think it looks pretty cool. And that's the thing with this race is the really dark colors and things that I'm using, I don't think look as good in the daytime. I mean, I like the way it looks at night a lot, but I don't, you know, in daytime it's like, it's all right, but could do more with the lighter textures, I think. But, you know, that's the race. So basically, mapping out this floor, you've got this area up here. Back in here, I plan on having some more crew rooms, and there's also like a little balcony area that I might glass off or just keep this open space. Your secure bridge, and then this big area back here. I don't have room for other ideas I had due to cutting off how big this floor was going to be. But it's got a kind of a neat view looking down there too. It's a long ways down from where you are right now. And I thought unexpected neat little effect is the fact that they got texture lights in the actual hangar here that are kind of visible through the glass here and sort of line up with the angle of the glass, almost like it was part of it. And then on the ceiling here, I actually used a little bit of marble texture, which I typically don't use. Not sure if it's going to stay that way or not, but trying to work out some kind of extra deco stuff here, and I want like some kind of attraction in the center point here, something to look at. Originally, I thought about using some deco blocks like statues and things. Then I realized you can't use them on a CV. So that kind of throws me for a bit of a loop on that too. So I'm not sure exactly what I'll put there yet, but I'm going to try to get creative and do something weird. I'm just not exactly sure what. I do plan on having some kind of unusual light show kind of in this area, at least when you're here, or maybe even have a switch to turn it on or off. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show you today. Now what I do plan on doing is I want to make something, I want to start over and make something again for Excalibur's PvP Class 3 challenge. And I'm thinking I'm just going to abandon this one currently and start on something new, whether that be Creel or the human faction. I don't know yet, but I want to do like a build tutorial on it, so I'm going to record all of that, and probably some of it will be high speed and some of it will be some commentary on it, and I want to get that going probably tomorrow. But I just wanted to show you all this stuff and see what you think of this ship, and would there be a use for a kind of a dual purpose, well, multiple purpose, like a cargo storage SV slash troop transport slash light fighter is kind of what I think this will end up being. So like all three of them, and it's a very, very maneuverable ship, at least without cargo in it. If it's loaded up, it's not going to fly super fast, but right now it is. So that's about it for today. And again, awesome work on this NMK 111 on the Steampunk Camper. Check that out. And also very cool on this HV meant for these docks over here on this CV. Awesome job, Typhoon. Really dig it. All right, well, I hope you all have a good day, and I do plan on a video tomorrow, starting a new build with that challenge PvP creation. All right, see you later, all.